The name is Jesus, only Jesus. Oh, only Jesus. Only Jesus.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Faithful Chats. Today we're wrapping up Matthew chapter 2 with verses 19 to 23, where Joseph, Mary, and Jesus return from Egypt and settle in Nazareth. It's a shorter passage, but it ties together so many themes we've been exploring.
Yeah, and it starts with another dream. After Herod dies, an angel appears to Joseph and tells him, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead."
It's such a relief after all the tension of fleeing to Egypt. But once again, Joseph shows amazing faith. He doesn't question or hesitate. He trusts God's timing and guidance and begins the journey back to Israel.
That's something we've seen a lot with Joseph, isn't it? He's so obedient and sensitive to God's leading. He's a quiet figure in the story, but his actions speak volumes.
Definitely. But even on their way back, things aren't simple. Joseph hears that Herod's son, Archelaus, is ruling in Judea, and he's understandably afraid to go there.
And that fear is valid. Archelaus was known for being just as ruthless as his father. But God steps in again. Joseph has another dream warning him to avoid Judea, so he takes his family to Galilee instead.
And they settle in Nazareth, a small, out-of-the-way town. It's not a place you'd expect the Messiah to grow up. It's humble, even overlooked.
Which is so fitting for Jesus, isn't it? His life and ministry often turn expectations upside down, and Matthew points out that this fulfills what the prophets said. He will be called a Nazarene.
Now, that phrase isn't a direct quote from any one Old Testament passage, but it's likely a summary of themes from the prophets. Nazareth was a place of humility, and being a Nazarene carried a sense of being despised or lowly.
Right, and that connects to prophecies like Isaiah chapter 53, which describes the Messiah as a suffering servant who is despised and rejected by men. Even from his childhood, Jesus' life reflects humility and identifies with the marginalized.
It's such a powerful reminder that God's ways aren't like ours. He didn't send the Messiah to grow up in a palace or a prominent city. He sent him to a humble town, showing that his kingdom is for everyone, especially the overlooked and outcast.
So true. And what really stands out in this passage is God's constant guidance and protection. At every turn, he's leading Joseph through dreams and keeping Jesus safe so his mission can unfold.
It's such an encouragement for us. Even when things seem uncertain or dangerous, we can trust that God is in control and will guide us when we seek him.
Absolutely. So, listeners, what does this story say to you about God's faithfulness or his plans for your life? And how can we, like Joseph, respond with trust and obedience, even when we don't have the whole picture?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, so send us a message or comment on our social media. Next week, we'll be jumping into Matthew chapter 3, where we meet John the Baptist and start preparing for Jesus' ministry. It's going to be a great discussion.
Thanks for joining us on Faithful Chats. See you next time. As we wrap up today's episode, we want to remind you that we don't shy away from difficult topics just like the Bible. We believe tackling challenging subjects head-on is important, because that's how we grow and learn together.
However, we know that sometimes these kinds of conversations don't exactly help with the algorithms. So if you found today's episode valuable, we'd love for you to share it with friends, Christian or otherwise. Help us spread these important messages far and wide.
If you'd like to support the creation of these episodes and help us continue diving into tough but essential topics, consider becoming a patron or grabbing some merch. All the information is below. Your support makes all the difference.
Thank you for listening. And until next time, keep growing in faith, truth, and love.